Hello again. Welcome back to another video. My name is Lindsay. This is my channel, Lindsay Talks a Lot. Today we are going to be talking about the worst books that I read in 2023. We're going to go ahead and start with 6 Years by Harlan Coben. I am disappointed because I have liked all the Harlan Coben books that I've read so far, but this was just on another level. So this book focuses on Jake. He's some kind of professor at a university, and he had this girlfriend back in school, Natalie, and I'm pretty sure they only dated for like a couple weeks, or it was a very small amount of time. And 6 years ago, she went off and married someone else, and he promised like he would leave her alone. And he finds out that her husband has passed away, so he's like, I'm gonna shoot my shot, like I need to find her. And then he finds out that the person her husband married wasn't actually her. So then he goes on this like wild goose chase to find this girl, and it gets real convoluted, and I just could not stand Jake as a character. Like he's like, yeah, I'm such a cool professor. Like all the kids like totally love me, and I'm so good looking, and I know all my students think I'm hot, but like I only have eyes for Natalie. And he just really pissed me off, and I don't know what Natalie saw in him. I don't know what they saw in each other. The plot like picked up a little bit after like the first half, and things got a little more exciting, a little more entertaining, but for the most part, no. This was a hard no. Please don't waste your time. Absolutely not. So the rest of the books I'm going to be talking about, I don't physically own, and if I did physically own them, I would get rid of them. I'm going to be getting rid of 6 Years. But the next one is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. This one, it's about a girl who goes to see her half-brother, stepbrother in Paris, or her brother, who I think was adopted by rich people and she was adopted by poor people. Well, whatever, it doesn't matter. And she goes to see him, and he's gone missing. So she's like trying to figure out what happened to him. He lives in this bougie apartment with only like 6 other apartments in it. And I just found it to be really boring. The mystery was not all that exciting. I didn't like any of the characters. I didn't like Jess. I didn't like everyone's secrets. And it just wasn't worth my time, which was disappointing because I did really enjoy the guest list when I read it. Next we have When You Disappeared by John Marrs. I wish I could take the time back that I gave to this book, because this book is a dual POV, and it focuses on like a formerly married couple, Catherine, I think, and I don't even remember the guy's name. But essentially, it all boils down to a miscommunication, like years of suffering and sadness and heartache and disappointment, all because of a miscommunication that was so easy to have resolved. Like there was no reason that this man had to go the lengths that he went to because of a miscommunication. He could have very easily, like 5 seconds could have fixed everything, and he didn't. His wife's life was ruined, his kids' lives were ruined, and the only thing this man did was make an ass out of himself. And I hope he suffers for all eternity, and I don't think I ever want to read a book from this author again. Please do not waste your time. Please. Next, I want to talk about The Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll. I read this a while ago, but it's about this girl who is like super successful. She's got the perfect fiance. She has some secrets in her past that we find out. Her name is Annie, but she pronounces it Ani. I just found her to be really mean and shallow and unappealing in every way, and she was just not a nice person. And all the deep, dark, like heavy topics that this book talked about was just like a couple sentences. Like, the author really could have delved into the trauma that Ani faced and how that developed her or prevented her from developing into a certain type of person. And then she just wants to like sneak around on her fiance. It was just, I just didn't like it. I didn't like anything about it. It's hard to read a book when your main character sucks, and it's not because it's intentional, it's just because the author doesn't know how to write a conniving like woman. Just no. It was a no. Next we'll talk about This Perfect Day by Ira Levin. I don't know why I finished this book, honestly. It was such a drag to get through. This is like a dystopia, totalitarian government world where like everyone is equal and everyone, like, there's no suffering, there's no pain, there's no inequality, but there's also no freedom. You know, everybody's equal. You don't even get a selection of names. I think there's like 2 names for a girl and 2 names for a boy that you can be. Your job is assigned to you, where you live is assigned to you, you like rotate out, your partner is assigned to you. They give you medication to kind of make you like relax and complacent. And the idea is great. Like, the concept, I loved the concept too of like rebelling against that and trying to find freedom for yourself, even if it means you'll have more suffering and more heartache in your life. But our main character, Chip, I just did not like him. He's a rapist. He's selfish. He's just the worst. And I don't understand, especially this was written by a woman. I don't know why she felt the need to make her main character a rapist and then have his victim like be okay with that. It didn't work for me. And it was very long, drawn out, dragged out, like, just great concept, poor execution. And lastly, I'm going to talk about The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This is my first Riley Sager, and I was not impressed. It's about this actress, her name is Casey. She has a bit of a like public scandal. Her husband passes away. She becomes a recluse, a drunk, and she lives in this cabin, her family's cabin. And this couple moves into a house across from hers, and she starts spying on them. And she realizes that their marriage is not a happy one. She has some suspicions about the husband. She makes friends with the wife, but then she goes about it in a very like weird, sneaky, unsatisfactory way. And then this like supernatural stuff gets thrown into the mix out of nowhere. And I was just not here for it. Like, I felt like I was reading 3 different books, and it had no flow. It had no creativity. Like, I'm all about supernatural and any kind of whatever twist element, but it just wasn't woven into the story. It was just like, oh, yep, this is what we're doing now. And I just didn't really care for any of the characters. I didn't care for Casey, didn't care for Catherine, didn't care for her husband. Just didn't care. Still don't care. I don't know if I'll read another Riley Sager, because if people love this one and this is how he writes, I don't know. I feel like I just must be more of a Grady Hendrix person. But yeah, I mean, like, these definitely could be worse. I feel like there wasn't any books that I read this year that I took as a personal insult. And generally, I feel like I have like pretty good luck with books. Maybe next year I will pick more books that are a little more debatable, you know, maybe a little more popular, but more questionable in their quality, just so I can have maybe a little more entertaining things to say about these books. But yeah, all in all, like, this is a very small list. I have almost double this with my favorites of the year. So I'd like to know, what was the worst book that you read this year and why? And are any of these on your list? Have you read any of these? If you like these, that's fine. It just wasn't for me. But thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.